All right, man. Put some picks in for week 1 NFL right now.
I think they being disrespectful to Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. It's at home.
Wow, I did not script this.
He's had, I think that there's prestige when it comes to coaching. There's a reason why individuals have been in the game for 10, 20 plus years, right? It's a $1 billion business. So expect it to be $1 billion investments that these people are making. Expect him, just like Nick Saban, to have a turnaround season. That's what you expect.
Wow.
Those guys that have consistency. So Mike Tomlin's one of them, and I expect him to see him and be similar to the Roll Tide Alabama.
Wow.
And take care of business.
Well, we appreciate that. We love the love that you're showing my Steelers week 1 versus the 49ers at home. Any other games intrigue you out the gate? Giants, Cowboys. What about the Thursday night? Lions at Kansas City. I'm hearing no Travis Kelce. So
you see Travis Kelce major injury. I think that's a lot.
So you think the Lions plus 7.5?
This is the thing about the Lions, right? Who are they? We still don't know, right? We're giving a lot of credibility to the team that didn't make the playoffs last year. It's the most credibility I've ever seen given to a team that didn't make the playoffs first year. Love Campbell, love the system. You know what? It's a little bit harder to get that passing game going. And coming out of camp, the Lions want to kind of dominate, set a tone. I think it'll be a close one. I think they might pull this one out week 1.
Bro, we are definitely gonna need. We're definitely gonna need your presence, Mr. Brunson, on the next Bro Bets episode soon, bro. We love the insight, man. We're gonna get back to the show and we'll holler at you a little bit later, fam.
Peace.
I'm gonna keep doing the thing, keep building the content. Really appreciate the show, and man, just stay consistent. Know y'all boys about to blow as y'all continue to grow the art. So big fan, love y'all, and peace.
One.
Much love.
That wasn't even scripted, but you know what it is. Week 1, we are finally here. Bro Bets, produced by Bro Media. I'm Life for D Green.
You know what it is, Parlay Hunter.
We in the building, man. Hey, week 1, we just set it off. My dog DB, shout out my boy DB, man. He just gave us some really free content, not scripted. You see who he was rooting for. Week 1, you know what's going to happen. We already had them weak-ass 49er fans on here, so they know what's going to happen, man. They know what's going to happen. Anyways, let's get right down to it, man. We got a huge rundown today. We're going to talk college football real quick, Colorado, the Colorado Express, and we're going to go dive into early Heisman candidates as well. Then we're going to go into some major headlines, NFL week 1, break down this Thursday night football game, Chiefs versus Lions, week 1 ceremony game. Chiefs come and unveil their next banner, winning championship. Week 1 primetime matchups, Monday night, Sunday night, and of course the Steelers versus the 49ers. I picked that game, obviously my team. I didn't really see no other game parlay that was pretty much big outside of that one in the Monday night and the Sunday night. And then me and Parlay will pick our NFL futures. We'll pick our Super Bowl contenders and winner. And then we'll pick our MVP. We'll pick our offensive player of the year, defensive player, rookie of the years, comeback, and coach of the year. And then we'll rapid fire the rest of our week 1 predictions and any of our best 3 bets that we have for the week. So, man, let's get right into it real quick, Parlay, man. The Colorado Express, I got a lot to say about it. I want you to share your little, momentum about it. I know you don't cover a lot of college football, but we know you love to watch it. You are seeing kind of the trend and what's going on. What is your thoughts on Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffs, man?
Bro, okay. So great intro, by the way. The Colorado, I would say this. We saw like a huge upset against TCU. That was awesome. And TCU was in the championship last year. And like, they're a great team. So it's like, I don't want to, like, personally, like, it's like TCU made it to the championship last year. Everyone was kind of upset that TCU was in the championship game last year. But and we're going to talk about Colorado right now. We're not going to shine away from Colorado right now and what Deion did. I think, though, to me, the most surprising thing when I watch everything back and I watch the highlights and everything is that they still have a lot of room to grow. Like, you see, like, if they can even get better, which they will, it's week 1 college. You know how these things, everybody week 1 in college, things are like, they don't really get into their best form till midway through the season. I'm excited to see them at their best form because when you see the athleticism and, like, really what Dion is doing is crazy because like the talent he's got the talent now, but it's still not the best talent in the world. Like you got the guys in Bama and Georgia and whatnot, but you see how well the coaching, like, bro, Dion's already like one of the best college coaches. He was before he was in Colorado, but now it's like when he's coaching these guys and he's just taking a team like Colorado and he's beating teams like TCU. That's crazy. Everybody looked on like real good, really on sync. Sanders, the quarterback, I think like we're gonna be talking about him and Caleb Williams at the end of the year. Really, I think Caleb is great. Sanders might be better than Caleb, and we won't know. These guys have a whole year to play football. So like anything can happen in a year. These guys are 19, 20 years old. They are coming into they have not reached their full form. They can still get better. So when Sanders gets better, I mean, it's going to be crazy. So really what we're watching is history being made and just an iconic coach in Deion Sanders.
Yeah, man. I mean, going back real quick to that, what you mentioned about that week 5 matchup, USC going into Colorado, I think that's right there is a Heisman moment for one of them young fellas, whoever steps up to the plate and rises above the challenge. I'm impressed, but I'm not surprised, if I can say that. I'm impressed by how well a lot of the experts and critiquers and everybody, ESPN, everybody, Undisputed, FSN1, all the stations, Rivals.com, everybody, what they're saying, it's not that it was a surprise because they had success at Jackson State. My thing, what I believe is how well they're doing it, how polished, how clean that they look for a team to have chemistry like that week 1. They had only 6 penalties the whole game. Like the O-line was dominating. Their defensive line stood up in key moments and made a sack, made some plays. Defense gave up, but they didn't give out. They made the big plays where they need to. Travis Hunter, he's him. We don't need to even discuss. We'll get into that real quick. I'll get into that a little bit real quick because I don't want to spend too much time on it. But just overall, what Deion's doing, man, I'm looking forward to the future. I'm excited. I know we are not going to cover a lot of college football, but when we do, I guarantee every week we're going to talk about Colorado and whatever they're doing to just continue to build the program and change the face of college football.
To add on to that, the O-line stepped up big because like the O-line was very like questionable. Like, can these guys play against a big time school like TCU? The O-line stepped up. And then the scoring, the way that they were able to come back and score, that was a really pleasant surprise because, like, okay, they can put up 40 points against a team like TCU. They can play against anybody. They have a dog in any fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that was just the whole thing. It was like, for me, them coming from an HBCU, it's always going to be, and this is what it's always been even for high school football for me in Minnesota, schools that had athletes, predominantly the black skilled players, that didn't have any good trench players, they weren't good. But we see that this translated for Colorado, so the sky's the limit, man. Travis Hunter is him. The dude played over 120+, 30+ snaps. It's ridiculous. Is he a receiver? Is he a DB? Time will tell. I don't know, but him and Shedeur are top two out of 3 in my category right now, Heisman. I will put Shedeur Sanders number 1, Travis Hunter number 2, and Caleb Williams number 3. That's my order right now after week 1. I just think those are the best 3 players in college football. Those are the most dynamic and the most exciting players. And so I don't want to spend much time on it. But as we get ready, and now we're preparing for the NFL. Now, I hope the NFL can just be as excited as college football was week 1, man. This is what we cover. This is what we've been doing. Man, this is honestly our 4th year covering this, man. But traditionally, this is the beginning of our year 2 of doing Bro bets in the fall season of NFL. So I'm excited, bro, for the 2nd year to underwind. I'm hoping we win people a lot of money. I'm hoping we place the best bets. I'm hoping that we do a good job of giving them the statistics and the facts and the predicaments and everything that goes on, man. So week 1 major headlines to me, it still is the ballot, Chris Jones and Nick Bosa without a contract. How do you feel about that?
Both those guys, I mean, it's like, okay, so Patrick Mahomes came out today. He said that, you have to prepare like without those guys. Like they can't waste their time thinking about it. So like they have to basically prepare like those guys aren't going to play. Nick Bosa, C. Jones, I think that that's important, but it's not nearly as important as Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa for the 49ers, he is their quarterback. He is their guy, like, he's going to be a difference maker. He's their TJ Watt for the Steelers. He is the guy who's going to really he's going to lead the team. He's going to make a big play, maybe 2 big plays, a turnover, whatever. I mean, pressure is ridiculous. So Nick Bosa is much more serious to me than Chris Jones. Chris Jones is, he's going to be playing, they're going to play Detroit, and they're favored by 6.5 points for that game. Does that change the spread? I don't think so. I mean, the reason why Kansas City is favored by 6 is because, of Patrick Mahomes and the offense. So the over-under on that is 54, and, I guess, it's that game really depends more on Detroit and what Detroit's going to do with Jared Goff and the offense and Gibbs. I mean, what we've seen with Mahomes in Kansas City is we know they can score a ton of points. If I had to lean one way, I'm taking Kansas City. I'm going to be staying off of that game, but it should be an exciting game because the Lions do have a lot to offer this year.
So before I jump into that Thursday night, opening night, I want to continue to go back to the, just major headlines. I think both contracts are as equal as important. Those are both players' best defensive players on team. Like you said, the captain, the quarterback of the team, they shape the defense. And I think it's a little bit more important for Kansas City to jump out to a good start than it is the 49ers, because without Chris Jones, there's really no other major player defensively for Kansas City. And so I don't think, yes, it's the Chiefs. Yes, we know they have Mahomes. Yes, we know Travis Kelce might even be hurt for this first game.
Right.
That they'll be there later. But the thing is, you want to establish some good momentum defensively. And so for me, it's like, if you don't got Chris Jones, you're asking for Nick Bolton to do a lot. We don't have no premier DB that I'm scared of in their back end of their defensive secondary. And we don't have no other linebacker outside of Nick Bolton that I'm scared of. Willie Gay's a good linebacker. He can go sideline to sideline, but I'm not terrified like I am of Nick Bolton. And Nick Bolton only plays good as if Chris Jones is there. We don't have a pass rusher. They don't have Frank Clark anymore. I'm not afraid of anybody on the defensive line except for Chris Jones for Kansas City. So I think it's a little bit more terrifying if I was to say for Kansas City. I'm a little bit more scared for them early on. And if you don't get a deal done, when does he get in the lineup? I mean, this thing can be done by tomorrow. This thing can be done right when we get off the show. Who knows? Or this can be 4 weeks down the line, and now you done forfeited 4 games, and now it's going to take a rhythm for them to get in there. How conditioned is he going to be and things like that? 49ers, I think they can play without Nick Bosa. They have been more successful. They have Fred Warner. They have the safety in the back end. They do have some good other defensive linemen in rotation. They just signed Javon Hargrove. So they have players that they can rotate in. And although that doesn't replace Nick Bosa, I still think they'll be more manageable because it's a system thing. Kansas City relies on Chris Jones to be a playmaker on the defense. And so I think that's going to be important to look out for. Another major thing for me is just injuries in itself. You have Joe Burrow coming off a calf injury in the preseason. You have the headline of Buffalo Bills. What will they be? Buffalo has been there now the last 5 out of the last 6 years in playoff Super Bowl conversations. Are they going to get over the hump? Is the relationship between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs going to cause problems middle of the year, end of the year? What is that going to be like coming down the middle of the season? So you have a lot of questions. Aaron Rodgers in New York. Daniel Jones getting signed. Is Saquon going to be motivated to want to play? You have questions going on in the NFC and the AFC. Are the Cowboys going to show up? Go ahead.
Yes, and 2 other major headlines that are going on pretty recently. Garoppolo, his contract is getting restructured. They're trying to actually have him longer, so he might be getting a restructure of like 5 years or something like that, which seems kind of interesting to me. It seems like Vegas is trying to get their guy and keep him. Maybe they really like what they've seen from him in training camp. Garoppolo got tons of praise from the 49ers after he left, and which we talked about in the 49ers podcast. Like, why did you get rid of the guy? Even if you had to move some monies around, why did you get rid of the guy who you're saying was the best quarterback since Steve Young? So Garoppolo getting a contract restructure from Vegas is pretty important, I think. And then Cooper Kupp is still out, and he's actually down in Minneapolis getting his work done and whatever. But he might be out for that game against Seattle. The line is Seattle -5. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, there's obviously people think that Seattle is a good team this year, and the Rams might suck again this year. That's all that's telling me. When you get 5, it's basically more than a field goal, so you got to be looking for a touchdown. The over/under on that game, I just wanted to pull that up real quick. That's 45. So, they're probably thinking the Rams are going to get blown out in that game. That's what Vegas is saying. So with Cooper Kupp, though, he's a guy where it's like with Nick Bosa out on the 49ers. If you don't have a Kupp, you really don't have you don't have the leader of that offense. I mean, I know Matt Stafford is a dog, but he's, without Kupp, it's hard.
Yeah. It's interesting to see, bro. I mean, you got the Bears as well. They got, recharging of offense. What are the Packers going to look like? So the headlines create just momentum for the season.
Well, the Bears have the most headlines. The Bears have everybody on the media saying this is Justin Fields. You got guys saying Justin Fields an MVP in the same conversation. And that's a team that hasn't won games for a long time, and they've been pretty horrible for a long time. Yes, Justin Fields looks good, but they're not going to give the MVP to a guy who wins 2 games if they don't win, if they don't get close to playoff contention or win the division. It's still a tough division because the Packers always are going to show up. Even if a lot of the money I saw in Vegas, there's a lot of hope from the pros and the Joes of the wagering business. There's a lot of confidence in the Packers. They always do have a lot of confidence behind them that they just believe in, what they do, what they got with their franchise and how they run things, and that they're going to be okay without Rodgers. And they still got their running backs. They got Christian Watson. Their defense is always solid. The back end of the defense is always solid. So will Jordan Love be able to step up? So Jordan Love and Justin Fields in the same division is going to be a very interesting thing to watch as those 2 quarterbacks compete to try to win the division.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's exciting, bro. This is what we live for. This is what we watch. This is what we kind of critique.
Can I ask you a question? Do you believe in the Justin Fields hype?
I mean, I think that he'll be better this year. I mean, we still got to see what he looks like with the new weapons he got, with the new upgrade of offensive line they got in the draft. And my thing is this: he proved it in college. I'm a big college football fan. I'm a big college football scout. Guys, the guy was slinging the ball around in the college game. Let's not forget he had Garrett Wilson. He had he didn't play with Marvin Harrison Jr. He had Garrett Wilson, though. He had Olave, and he had Jackson Smith-Njigba. So for him to play with those guys at the level that he did, he had Jameson Williams too. So it's like, yeah, I think he can do good. It's not always the guy, or it's not always the players. It's sometimes the system. And the Bears, to me, have never been a passing offense. So for them to build that in their arsenal, it is just hard. Traditionally, the Bears have always been known as a defensive team that has a good run game, and they know how to manage the ball well. The most they ever threw it was when Jay Cutler was there, and we know what that was. So I don't know who's to say what he's going to look like. Overall, I do hope and I do believe that he'll at least throw for 3,000 yards and he'll at least throw for 20 touchdowns with DJ Moore coming there, with Claypool. It's still a big weapon. They keep Claypool healthy, they'll be good. So I think they have a reasonable chance to be decent in the passing game, but we'll see, man. We'll see. To go back to that Thursday night game, you mentioned kind of your already prediction. I always love to talk about the opening night because it's just a banner reveal. I'm not on the Chiefs bandwagon, bro, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs, respectfully. They've won 2 out of the last 4 Super Bowls. And they've been to, how many have they been to? 4 out of the last 5? Because they've won 2.
I think it's 3 out of the last 4. No,
they've been to 4. They lost to the Bucks. They lost to the Bucks. They beat the Niners. And they just
beat Philly.
3. So yeah, 3 out of the last 4. They've been 3 out of the last 4. And for me to get to that, that's a respect of a symbolizing of almost a dynasty. But to talk a little bit about this Thursday night, bro, with Travis Kelce not playing, no Chris Jones. I see you thought about that in your head, going back to that 9th grade Dynamath, I see. But no Chris Jones, no Travis Kelce, no. It's questionable that Kadarius Toney will be injured. No L'Jarius Sneed, questionable. I don't know. I don't really know. I think with a healthy Lions team, this is all I'm going to say. Andy Reid and them going to have to rely on the run game, and that's hard to do That's hard to do when that's not who you are, and then you don't have your safety blanket at tight end / receiver and Travis Kelce. So I'm not saying they're gonna lose, but give me the Lions plus the 7 and give me the Lions plus the 5. And I'll buy 2.5 points if I have to, but give me the Lions plus 5.
Interesting. And I think that without Kelce, that's huge for the Lions. Like, if Kelce doesn't play, it's a problem. Now,
Yeah.
Mahomes finds guys. So if he's looking for Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Mahomes is a dog. Like, Mahomes will find somebody. Like, he will keep them in the game, and no matter what. So I think that, it's like it's just you almost wish that the Lions, the points were a little bit closer, because like I could hop on the Chiefs at like -3, but I don't know about -5.
I think we haven't got any final rule, and I think if we get a final rule with Kelce, I think this line goes down to -3.
So another guy like Justin Fields, who's getting a lot of hype, is Gibbs, the new running back in Detroit. People are saying that he's going to be catching the ball. He's going to be playing a ton of different downs. He can play all these different ways. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. But I'm saying the hype is like Justin Fields. It's crazy. And you got a rookie. I still don't know. They moved up for him in the draft. So obviously they're very high on him. But we still have to see how is his play going to transition into the NFL, because you got 300-pound guys running 4.4s. It's a different game in the NFL. So how do you think Gibbs is going to transition to the NFL and be utilized?
300-pound guy running 4.4, first of all. But I think Gibbs is going to translate, man. He was my number one. He was my RB1 in last night's fantasy draft. Shout out to the primetime buffs. We're going to do the damn thing. But I think Gibbs is going to be perfect in the league. This is the 2.0 version of Alvin Kamara, a little bit faster than Alvin Kamara. To me, a little even more shiftier. He's not as big as Alvin Kamara, but Gibbs is going to be somebody that is going to get, at least 15 to 20 touches a game. He'll definitely, get 4 to 5 catches a game. He'll get about 10 attempts running a game. Like I said, get into that 15 to 20 touches a game, where I could see him always having over 50 yards rushing, 50 yards pass, 50 yards catching, and at least a touchdown, at least one. And I think with Jameson Williamson suspended, I think he's going to definitely be their major weapon early on. That's why you'll see him a little bit in the mixture of the pass and run game. You got to remember they did not re-sign Jamal Williams. He's now with the Saints. They did get David Montgomery. They got rid of Swift as well. So they're trying to kind of changing their offense a little bit. I think they're going to build it for Jared Goff in the form of what he was used to be accustomed to with the Rams, a little bit even more spread out, a little bit more faster pace, a lot of less running the ball downhill, and a lot of more just getting it into the playmakers' hands and letting them make plays. Not a lot of running the ball like you would normally see with a I forgot their coach's name. Dan Campbell, yes. Not a lot of running the ball like they did last year, but I think that they're going to be definitely still elusive, and I think that they're going to be a weapon. And I just think that they're going to keep this game close. I'm not saying they're going to win, Parlay, but if you keep the line at -5, I'm taking it, bro. Without Travis Kelce, that's a layup. That's a layup right there. That's not my best bets of the week, but that's a layup for anybody want a free bet. That's a layup. Take the line right now. Don't wait for it to get down. Don't wait for them to say Travis Kelce has been ruled out. He's doubtful. No, I would take the line and put money on it right now. The Lions are going to keep this a game. Their defense is good enough. Their offense is just as good without Travis Kelce on the Chiefs.
That's what's up.
So let's go right into this, man. Week 1 Monday Night Football. We're going to keep this kind of short and simple, man. The Buffalo Bills traveling to MetLife for the JETS New York Jets, led by Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, and a handful of other great players, man. What is the rave? What is the buzz in New York City from the side of the New York Jets? We haven't seen excitement like this in some years, man. What can you give me for this game on Monday night in MetLife? What does this mean?
Well, okay, the Jet fans in New York are obviously very excited. The hype is like they're in the clouds. You know what I mean? Like they're very much, they got the goggles on, the glossy goggles. They see their man Rodgers. All the hype on Wilson, and it's not just hype; it's real. Wilson has shown it. Obviously, Sauce Gardner is a dog. Like, we've seen that. But the O-line still has problems. Like, let's not forget that. And we still got a defensive coach coaching this team. So that offense, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, one of the greatest of all time. But still, you don't really have an offensive mind. I mean, you don't really have like a crazy, as we know of right now. We don't know who's like, if the offensive mind who's calling the plays, if it's gonna work out, crazy well with Rodgers, with Hackett and Rodgers again. I know Hackett, he was in Denver, and it was a shit show. So let's not like be all like rainbows and butterflies over here. The Rodgers is gonna have to. We saw it in the preseason. If you saw Hard Knocks, he was calling some plays. Rodgers made some good things happen. So I would like to see more of that, but it's hard to coach and play quarterback. So it's gonna take Hackett's ability to coach. He did it with Rodgers in Green Bay. So we'll see if it works out. O-line still got to play well. And if they don't got an O-line, you can't play well. So we'll see. If they don't have an O-line, it's going to be trouble for them. And it might – Rodgers is trying to play for a few years. So this might not be the year. We'll see.
I'll say this. I'm with you on Nathaniel Hackett. If he can't make this happen, then fuck it. Sean Payton, he said what he said. And I'm going to back him up on that. Yeah. Because not only do you have Garrett Wilson, you have Rodgers, you have a select few other weapons in the receiver group, but you have Breece Hall, a healthy Breece Hall, and you have Dalvin Cook.
The weapons.
That Dalvin Cook is a running back one. He was consistent back for the Vikings. He was semi-injured. He had a little bit of a fumble problem, but he was consistent when he did play.
And Rodgers went after him. You can see, I mean, they went after. They had to move monies around to sign him. So
Rodgers remember them long runs that Dalvin Cook had at Lambeau Field, man. So I think if Hackett can't get it right with this offense, and you telling me Kirk Cousins could with Dalvin Cook in the backfield and Justin Jefferson, doesn't make no sense. Give me the over in this game. I don't really much have nothing to say about the Bills. Like I said before, in the headlines of week one, in the headlines of the overall year, if the Bills don't, I really like, I was never on the Bills train. I always respected them, but I don't want to talk about them after this year if they don't even make it to the conference championship or even get to the Super Bowl, but they're not going to be my Super Bowl pick because obviously they're coming out of the AFC, so it's tough. But if they don't even at least make it to the conference championship, it was a debacle last year. I know it's very emotional with Damar Hamlin. We're glad that he's healthy. We're glad that he made the 53 roster. Man, it's crazy to see transfer under 365 days, but
he's always been good.
Make some noise, bro. And it's going to be hard because this division is tough, and we're going to continue to talk about it with them, the Jets, the Dolphins, and even the Patriots still with Bill Belichick there. But my thing is this. The Bills have so much to prove, more so of consistency this year. You have Josh Allen on the cover of Madden. Nobody's really talking about that. I don't want to talk about Madden curse. I don't wish that upon nobody. But, hey, what are the Bills going to do this year? Nobody's caring about you guys winning 11 and 12 games, having a good offense, putting up points, get into the playoffs. You have to beat Joe Burrow. You have to beat Patrick Mahomes to get to that dance, and you got to make something happen, man. And now with Aaron Rodgers there, it's going to be tough. So give me the over in this. I'm not choosing the side Monday night. I like the over in this.
I like how confident you are in the over. It's 46.5, and I would jump on that with you. I like that over as well because what we saw in the preseason from the Jets was that they were connecting on offense. Like Rodgers was laying up touchdowns to Wilson and stuff in the end zone. So that offense should be able to score if they can get it down to the red zone. But they got it, like the Jets got to make sure that they're clean on penalties and the O-line plays well. But with Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, they should be able to pound the rock and move the ball with those two guys. And they got Michael Carter. So, and they got an Israel A. That's he's a fourth string running back, but he's really good. They rave about him. So they should be able to run the ball, and that should be a good game. I do like the 46.5. And just to, jump on the Bills real quick, it's weird because they really do have everything. Like even McDermott is like, from my eye, I think he's a good coach. So like, I think it's Von Miller. Once, he's got to be healthy too. He's not healthy right now, but like they have everything. They got it all everywhere the field. So if they don't get it done, you're right. It's gonna be it might even be a coaching change, like because I can't really see what the problem is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, Sunday Night Football. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Cowboys going into MetLife Stadium. It's crazy. Both games will be in New York Sunday night, then Monday night. I like this game. Let me see what the under is in this game. They got Dallas minus 3.5 right now.
46.5.
46.5. I like this game. I like this game to stay under. I think this is a better defensive play game. Micah Parsons is going to start his campaign to be defensive player of the year.
I think both defenses got better.
Yeah.
And then both offenses still have question marks.
I either like this game to stay under, or I think the Cowboys win this one week 1. I don't like the 3.5, but I do like this game to stay under 46.5. Other big games in the week 1, obviously, like I said, man, the only one I really think is my Steelers. 49ers come to my Steelers, and then I like the Bengals at the Browns. I mean, you got a week 1 AFC North matchup. That's going to be interesting. I don't know if Joe Burrow's cleared to play yet, if he's going to be playing week 1 yet. I haven't heard anything. I know Deshaun Watson is hungry, looking to, start a campaign of an MVP candidate, maybe possibly with Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. I'm losing it today, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore today. I was about to say Elijah Brown. Elijah Moore, Nick Chubb in the backfield. So I think that's going to be an interesting game. I'm not going to pick any. I'll wait till we go rapid fire with that game. Obviously, I'm taking my Steelers. The line is continuing to come down as you see it. It's at minus 2.5 on San Francisco. That's telling me something. It's telling me something, Hillmeyer. So anyway, I like our chances. No Bosa. Brock Purdy, he didn't, like you said in the other show, he threw a couple interceptions in preseason, man. He didn't look perfect to me. So I think you coming into our home stadium, it's not going to be easy like he thinks. And if that O-line is looking any bit of shaky on the right side, as those 49ers fans told us, that's where we're going to line up TJ Watt. It's going to be a long night.
Steelers had the best preseason in my eyes. I think that, we saw a lot of good connections between Pickett and George Pickens. But is Bosa for sure out, or can they get it done before?
I mean,
they might get it done.
The deal is literally going to get done either tomorrow through Friday. If we don't hear nothing tomorrow through Friday, he won't play week 1.
Interesting. I almost think they will get it done tomorrow.
I think they get it done tomorrow. We'll see. Adam Schefter will come through with the reports, but I think it's got to get done either tomorrow or Thursday. To be real honestly, like
But they are. It's foolish. We've dogged John Lynch a lot on Bro Bets, and I think it's good that we continue to dog him and just say that he's a terrible GM. He's the worst GM in the league, because this should have been done a long time ago. It doesn't help anyone's situation. Like everyone's like making excuses, like, oh, he can afford it. Oh, it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to be in training camp. He's the best, most athletic guy in the world. Who gives a crap? Get it done 2 months ago. Why wouldn't you want him at training camp? Why wouldn't you want this to be like, this is why their franchises, they're not run like the Belichicks. They're not run like the Patriots. Like, this is, you got to get this done. Even Pittsburgh, when they had to do it with TJ Watt got it done. And that's on TJ Watt more so than the Steelers. But still, if it's between Bosa and the GM, it's got to get done. I really don't like that. I don't respect that. And I think that that's only a good thing for Pittsburgh. Even if they do sign him tomorrow, it's still not good. It still worsens the situation. Yeah. But I just real quick, I'll say 2 games I'm interested in, kind of intriguing. Jacksonville and Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson hitting the field. That's going to be really interesting to see, because we're all expecting rookie bumps in the roads and whatnot. But when the draft was coming along and people saw what Anthony Richardson is like, it's like, wow, like if that guy is good in the NFL, what he can do athletically, it's going to be insane. So really, it could be a coming out party. But then same thing with Jacksonville, they're getting better.
I like that game because obviously, I'm going to speak about my comeback player of the year. But I like Jacksonville to see what they're going to be. Are they going to make that next step? Are they going to be one of them teams? Are they the new Bills? Because that's kind of the feel I get with them. They got a lot of great young talent on both sides of the ball, and they seem to be like the new Bills. Because are we going to see Trevor Lawrence take that step, and is he going to be just as good as Herbert? Is he going to be just as good as Josh Allen, Joe Burrow? Is he going to get to that next tier of quarterback? And I think so. I think my comeback player of the year is going to make him be at that level. And so we'll jump right into our NFL futures.
Real quick. I just got two more things. That game, a lot of the sharp money is going over on 45 points because a lot of Vegas thinks that Anthony Richardson might throw a couple interceptions. It might be pick sixes, but then on the other side, he might be able to score. They might be able to score with his ability to move the ball.
I agree with you. They changed their whole offense. They're going full Philly mode. This offense coordinator, this head coach was the offense coordinator for Philly last year. They're going full Philly mode because without Jonathan Taylor back there, you're not concentrating on the run. A lot more to run. I would even put more player prop money on Anthony Richardson to average. He might even look like Justin Fields a little bit of last year, where he's going to average he's averaging at least 40 to 50 yards rushing. I mean, he has to in his first year for them to be successful. I think you got to kind of look at it. If you're trying to bet, you got to kind of study that. Study who this offense coordinator, who this head coach is, who was the offense coordinator. Look how they used Jalen Hurts last year. I think you're going to see the same thing with that.
Yeah, and one more thing for another game, Tennessee and New Orleans, the over-under is 40.5. It's very low. In Vegas, they seem to think that both of these offenses are going to struggle and the defenses are going to really hold. We've seen Tennessee run the ball like crazy, and they might just do that again, even with D-Hop. Just because they have D-Hop, that's really just a security blanket in my eyes for Tannehill. I think they're going to be doing the same thing with arguably the best running back in the league, Derrick Henry, who's still very, very good and talented. So they might just be running the ball. And then with New Orleans, they're still figuring it out there with their offense now with Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I think it was the best thing for him to get traded, and he got traded to a good team. He's got Olave, a healthy Michael Thomas. But to me, but with Kamara injured as well, I think that the offense might be a little bit slow as well. So 40.5 is very low, but I do see a lot of the money coming in, supporting it, that it could happen. And sometimes they're low for a reason. So that will be an interesting game to watch with the new offenses on the field.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put my money to that game. I'll give you a pick later, but I don't know where to put my money. But yes, it's intriguing to see what Tennessee will look like for me with DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry being that neither guy are on long contracts. So Tennessee is in a rebuilding, reshaping type of year to the next couple years. So it's going to be interesting to see. Let's move on to our NFL futures. Share it kind of briefly. I know we're not close to time yet, but we probably getting a little bit. But NFL futures, man, share. What overall? What is your what's your Super Bowl pick? Who do you see there? Just so we can for future references, we can come back to this episode and talk about it once we get to that point. But who you got?
Man,
all honesty.
Yeah, no, I think it's Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, I kind of think it's their time. Really, I think Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Higgins. We saw that last year. We had a big argument about the trenches versus Patrick Mahomes and his offensive ability. Now I think that it's 2023. We are in the future of football, and we are seeing that the passing offense really might be what matters most. This is how and it might change again in the next decade because teams always got to figure out how to beat the best guy. They have to build their teams around beating Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. But right now, as we are in the moment of time that we're in, I think that if we got a healthy Joe Burrow, healthy Jamar Chase and Higgins, that offense, I kind of think it's Cincinnati's time to win the Super Bowl this year. So that will be my Super Bowl pick.
I'm saying, who are they playing though?
It's like if the 49, if Purdy is as good as everybody says, it could be the 49ers. Could be Philly because Philly is so stacked. So I guess I'll go with a very predictable picks, but I'll go with Philly and I'll go with Cincinnati because Philly last year really did look like the best football team, and they actually are from roster down. I think the best team. The depth on the defensive side with the trenches, they only got better in the draft. They're going to be so fast. I don't know how teams are going to put up 0 yards rushing against them. So I think I'll go with Philly and Cincinnati.
I'll be intrigued to see what Philly looks like more so offensively, because like you said, defensively they're stacked. It is not going to take that much for them kind of repeat what they did last year, with the defensive great coaches that they have in Coach Nick Rallis and Gannon. I think that they'll definitely kind of repeat that defensively. So offensively, I want to see what they'll look like with a new offense coordinator. What kind of shift will he make in the scheme of things, and what will their identity be in? But for me, no, I'm not. You said this to you. You told me about a month ago, a dark horse. Told me about a dark horse, and I said, never seen a dark horse, but if it had colors, it'd be yellow, red, and blue. And that's
I'm saying in a month's time, bro, I've probably called 17 different teams dark
you see
horses.
the team over there, man. I
got a real
obviously, I'm
feeling
not
for
gonna say any other team in the AFC. I gotta keep it real, and we have the makeup to do it. We have. Keep this in note.
Yeah,
Ben
no, I want to hear this.
Ben went to the Super Bowl in his second year. Ben in his first year won 9 games. I think he went 9-7. Kenny in his first year went, what was we? We was above 500, 9-8. Or 8-8, whatever.
So
second year, Ben went to Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl, went 13-3 in the regular season, I believe, or 12-4, or 11-5, and they end up winning the Super Bowl.
I don't see how this
Same coach, same thing is gonna happen here. No, that different coach. We had Bill Cowher, but you know what I'm saying. But anyways, Kenny Pickett, offensive line is rejuvenated. Got a great wall on the O-line, starting with my boy from Georgia. Got great tight ends, underrated tight ends, Pat Freiermuth, and we got Darnell Washington from Georgia.
Great pick, Darnell Washington, 6'7", 300 pounds, just
blocking and catching.
Yeah.
George Pickens
runs a 4.3.
Deontay Johnson, Allen Robinson, healthy.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna play a number 3 type of role. You're gonna forget about how good Allen Robinson was how he was for a couple years because of what role he's gonna play on our team, which is good for us. Got Calvin Austin, nobody's heard of yet. A healthy Najee, who I think is gonna have the best year of his career. Underrated number 2 running back in Jaylen Warren. Then our defense, we don't even
very good
about. We don't even need to speak about our defense. Nobody's talking about our rookie from Wisconsin, Nick Hersby. That dude was the PFF #1 defensive player the whole time. This dude is, I don't know, it's something about them Wisco boys, man. Shout out to them Wisco boys. But, dog, I'm not even going to talk about our defense. We stay healthy. We're there. There's nobody else.
What about the fact that you have to play Baltimore twice a year, Cleveland twice a year, and Cincinnati twice a year?
I think that's what makes it even crazy. Because if I break it down for you, we're gonna beat every team in our division, and that's the thing. All of us might split with each other, but I think that we beat the team that I think that we have the best potential to beat twice. Honestly, I think this year is the Bengals.
Wow, that is not the team. I would pick the other 2 teams before.
No, the reason why the Browns are tough because their quarterback is a little bit more dangerous to me because he runs a little bit more. Mm-hmm. If our D-line is healthy, Cincinnati still doesn't have no O-line. Their O-line is trash.
Well, they're okay. They got better. They drafted. They got tackles
decently. They got my boy that was on Kansas City, that was on the Ravens. I forgot big boy Orlando Brown Jr. Mm-hmm. Cool, but still. Defensively, I think we got the better chance.
They also got that the big white dude from Penn State 2 years ago.
Yeah, but trash. But Baltimore, new offense, Lamar being healthy, he's dynamic, but we have beat Lamar. I say this, I'll be fair. We could sweep the Ravens or we could sweep the Bengals. I don't think I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan. And I'm scared of Deshaun Watson because he's not always going to beat you with his legs, and he's not always going to beat you with his arms. It's a mixture of both. And so I'd rather know the identity of, okay, I know Lamar can throw the ball, but I know if we get pressure on Lamar, he's not a quarterback that plays well from the pocket or throws well under pressure.
So I would say we haven't really seen it with Cleveland and Deshaun yet. Like, obviously they signed him for a huge contract, and he was like an MVP candidate early on in his career. So we could see him break. It would almost be like comeback player of the year, like breakout season if he did have an amazing year. But that offense, but that offense runs the ball better than any other team in the league. Why would you get away from that? Why would you?
But they know they can't run on us, bro. They only time they ran one game. That was the first game last year.
So I honestly would say you guys could sweep Baltimore and Cleveland, but before and then split with Cincinnati. I think that's more likely than y'all beating Cincinnati twice, because Cincinnati they're going to the playoffs if they got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Higgins.
And we got I ain't gonna lie, and we got a favorable schedule. That's why I say that we can do what we do. We play the 49ers, which I think we're gonna win. We play the Browns at home. We can win that. We go to the Raiders, win. At the Texans, win. Play the Ravens at home. That's another legitimate game. Then we play the Rams. Our first 6 games, we could go 6-0. We could.
All right. This isn't a Steelers podcast. So
anyway. But it's the Steelers and my dark horse in the NFC. I think this team can get better. I don't want to say them, but I'll say Philly. It's not Philly who I'm saying, but it's Philly and the Seahawks. I really think you got to be mindful of the Seahawks.
I think
they did a great job in the draft. They did a great job in the draft.
I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a breakout year. He looks good when he's healthy.
We know who Tyler Lockett, we know who DK Metcalf are. Those are some consistent receivers.
They're good.
Then you get Jackson Smith-Njigba. Then you get Geno Smith back. You got a healthy O-line. Defense is better. You go get the corner from Illinois.
They got
Wagner's back. If Jamal Adams can stay healthy.
He's out, I think, week 1. But yeah.
But I'm saying the Seahawks are always going to be there. And they're
a lot better, yeah.
Bro, let's keep this in mind. They had the 49ers rattled in the first half of that playoff game.
Yeah. And
they didn't get into the second half.
Last year, they were saying, Seahawks are going to win 2 games. Seattle went on a run to go to the playoffs. They were one of the best teams. So if they get better, they re-signed Geno Smith. I like that pick. That would be great. I'd love to see unexpected teams make the Super Bowl. And we do get that every other year, where one team who was last in their division goes to the playoffs or wins their division. Same thing. But is there a team though? What would you say? I guess maybe, but the Seahawks were good last year. But if you were to pick a team that was bad last year and is going to be good this year, who would you say?
Team that was bad last year that will be good.
Yeah. You got teams like the Patriots, the Texans, Panthers, Falcons. You got Colts.
I think the Falcons.
Bucks.
The Falcons will take a step up. I don't know how good they'll be, but they'll take a step up. I think B.J. Robinson gonna add some spark to that team. I also think I think the Commanders take a step up. I think Sam Howell and Terry McLaurin is going to be a good duo. I don't know how great they're going to be in that division. It's a tough division with Philly, the Cowboys, and the Giants, but they'll take a step up. And I'm intrigued to see we haven't said anything yet about the Dolphins. We didn't say anything about the Chargers. We didn't say anything about the Broncos. But those 3 teams.
Broncos will be better. That's the team, I think. Broncos and Falcons.
The Broncos should be better, but we didn't see that in preseason. So I'm not going to guarantee that just because we know how good of a coach Sean Payton has been in the past. Let's not forget he took a year off. And then he made some remarks, bro, and God don't like ugly. So that's all I'm going to say to that. So you better back up your talk if you're going to talk about hacking like that. You better shut up on your offense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
For you to come at a guy and you've been sitting out for a year, I don't give a damn what Super Bowl ring you got. You had DB9. You didn't have Russell Wilson. So 35 plus Russell Wilson. And I'm not hating Russ, but I'm just saying, bro. So we'll see. So, I mean, I don't know about the Patriots. It just, forget about it. That's how I feel about that. So let's go right into the MVPs. Who you got? It's kind of quick.
Okay, let's go with Joe Burrow.
It's a good pick. It's a solid pick. It depends for me if he gets it, how healthy he is. Because if he doesn't start off, MVPs are always based off of, from week 1 to week 16. And we don't give a damn about playoffs, which is stupid. But yeah. You say Joe Burrow? I like a dark horse, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. But going off the rocker a little bit. Not
Let
gonna
me
be obvious. Aaron Rodgers just won 2 years ago. Not gonna say Joe Burrow. Not gonna say Josh Allen because
you're gonna say a receiver?
I'm gonna say Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I like that one.
Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence wins the MVP this year. Surprisingly, that's a team that's going to take a next step. I really think they're going to solidify themselves as the number one dominant team in the AFC North, AFC South. But Trevor Lawrence wins MVP for me, and Offensive Player of the Year I think goes to.
I got mine. I would say Christian McCaffrey because when he's healthy, when he played those few games on the 49ers, when he was healthy right when he got there, the holes were huge for him. And they were giving Elijah Mitchell like 5 or 6 carries. That helps a ton because Elijah's getting 10 yards per carry. So I think that the way that they have that run offense going and the way that Christian McCaffrey, he looked better suited on the 49ers than he did when he was in Carolina. Carolina, they would just kind of throw him the screens, and you really can't underestimate his ability to play well. So I do like Christian McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year if he stays healthy. I think he's going to have a really great running back season.
You're going to like mine. Staying in, going to go back over to the NYG, the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley. I like Saquon this year.
That'd be good. That would, yeah.
I think with
healthy,
feeling disrespected by not the non-long term, I think he does what Josh Jacobs did last year, and I think he rushes for over 1,400 yards. And I think he also has over 15 touchdowns this year, combined running, rushing, and catching. I think he even gets 500 receiving yards with 1,400 rushing yards. I just think that they're going to air it out vertically with those receivers that they got. They don't really have any slice and dice. So where that slice and dice is going to come from is Saquon. So I like him for Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, I think it's Micah Parsons' year. I
was gonna say Michael Parsons. So
I just think he gets it this year. I just think he gets it this year. I could say TJ Watt every year, of course, but I just think Michael Parsons gets it with the contentions of
Sauce Gardner. I would say
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
What?
Sauce is like, bro, I was watching some Sauce tape. That guy looks like he could be the next Dion or Revis.
What I was gonna say too. I was going to say too, Xavier Howard.
Could. He's got a lot of help too.
Maybe he's got help with Jalen Ramsey will be back. But the thing what I say, Xavier Howard has more interceptions than Ramsey. That's a factual. We know that. And so I think the receivers and the type of offenses he's going to play, he's playing the Bills twice, he's playing the Jets twice. Those right there, those are opportunities for him to get his hands on the ball. And I think that he's going to make those plays. And I think he goes over 10 plus interceptions once again for the third time in his career. And I think that he has the potential to be Defensive Player of the Year. So I'm going to go with Michael Parsons first, Xavier Howard second, and I'm going to go with Saquon first. I'm going to go with Saquon for Offensive Player of the Year. And the second Offensive Player of the Year and Comeback Player of the Year for me is Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley is I think he's top 3 in receiving in all categories next year except for receiving touchdowns.
I'll go with Russell. He's got Sean Payton now, and he got a lot of crap last year for being bad. I think he's set up for prime comeback with Sean Payton in Denver. He got Jerry Jeudy, Sutton, Greg Dulcich is the tight end, pretty good. Javonte Williams will help him out at running back. Rookie of the Year. I got some. I think it's gonna be Bijan because Bijan's gonna get the most opportunities right away. But I don't know if he's gonna be the best player out of this draft because Jackson and Zay Flowers are gonna be really good players. Jackson Smith in Seattle, but they got other guys like Odell. He's got Odell and Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews, and then dude in Seattle got Metcalf and.
But it's so hard for me to pick. It's so hard for me to pick a receiver.
Yeah,
Rookie of the Year because you gotta do Justin Jefferson. You have to do Randy Moss type numbers, bro. We've seen receive. You got to even do Jamar Chase. So I'm gonna agree with you. I like your pick with Bijan, but I think that C.J. Stroud solidifies himself, and I think he kind of gets the spark back in Houston, and everybody gets to watching some Houston Texans football. I think he breaks Deshaun Watson's rookie record over 3,500 passing yards, and I think he throws for over 25 touchdowns as well. And I think he has a good touchdown to interception ratio this year. I like CJ Stroud, rookie of the year offensively, and then defensive rookie of the year. Who do we got in there? I like man,
I like Gonzalez.
I was gonna say Gonzalez.
He looked pretty good. So.
But you know what?
Philly dude, that pass rusher.
That's
Philly
what I'm
guy.
saying. But he wasn't like that dominant. I'm thinking of Nolan Smith and I'm thinking of Carter, but yeah. Man. Defensive rookie of the year, that's a toss up. I can't really.
I'm going with Gonzalez.
Yeah, Gonzalez is a solid pick. Coach of the year, it's a good pick.
You know, it doesn't. There's not a lot of like coaches who are set up where it's like because you know how some of these awards are like they kind of set it up like they're already rolling out the carpet. I don't really see that with a lot of coaches this year. And shoot, like
I think go ahead, finish. But I think this is a good one.
I kind of think it's a good year for Belichick to win it because if Belichick wins it, he remains New England's head coach.
But that means that they're going to be beating the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. But
yeah, I think they could exceed it. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if this does happen, he wins Coach of the Year, and it's a possibility it could happen. It's a very good possibility the Patriots could win 10 games. Why would we say they can't? I mean, it's the New England Patriots. They always got a good system.
I think this is a trap award. I think it goes to Saleh.
That would be cool. Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Back to the playoffs. This goes to Saleh. They say he did a good job. Bullshit. The GM got Aaron Rodgers. They got all these dudes here. Whatever. They give him the award. Who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Well, that's rolling out the red carpet. But I agree with you. Yeah.
All righty. Rapid fire week ones. Here we go. Bucks and Vikings.
Money lines. No spreads. Nothing. Just talk about who's going to win.
Okay. Bucks and Vikings.
Bucks and Vikings. We go with the Vikes. And Baker's might get benched.
Viking after week one.
Yeah, if Baker's just sucking and Mike Evans has 0 catches or 1 catch for 6 yards, then they might bench him if they're losing badly by a hungry Vikings team who has something to prove without Dalvin Cook now. But now they got Addison. They got something to prove, and they might even be better with Addison. Kirk Cousins can still play good ball. So like if the Vikings want to make a statement at home, right? So they might put it up by the second half. And if they're getting blown out, Baker could get benched in the second half.
This Vikings offense will look like the Rams of a couple years ago with Justin Jefferson obviously being in the better version of Cooper Kupp. But I like the Vikings. 49ers at my Steelers, you know where I'm going with this one.
This has actually gotten tougher now as the week's gone on because of the Bosa stuff. It's been harder because now you have to start leaning more towards the Steelers. But I was saying it on the podcast, on the 49ers podcast. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. And I still think it's going to be a low scoring game because you had all that preseason hype. Oh my God, Pickett and Pickens are such a good matchup. Oh my God, Brock Purdy is so good. All just to, so everyone who's spending their money on the over gets crapped on and it goes under. It could go under big time. Both the quarterbacks, I think, will protect the ball. I think that they've learned to protect the ball. And I think a lot of both of their careers relies on protecting the ball. So they're gonna
make a fucking pick.
I said the under, and I will say I'll go with your Steelers.
Thank you. Texans at Ravens.
Ravens.
Bengals at Browns. This is a tough one. Joe Burrow doesn't play. I like the Browns to win this.
Yeah, Joe Burrow does play, though. I like the Bengals to win it.
Yeah, Joe Burrow plays. Bengals win. Joe Burrow doesn't play. I like the Browns.
Yeah, it's basically a pick me. It's 2.5.
You know what? I'm going to take a sleeper pick. Toe Burrow plays. I still like the Browns. I just think it's closer, obviously. I think the Browns still feed off of that if he plays because he hasn't took any snap in preseason. We don't know. We don't know. Yes, we know these guys are superhuman at some moments, but we don't know. So I still like the Browns either way. I just think it's a closer game if he plays.
Now, Burrow to me though is one of them guys, just like what they say about Bosa. I don't think he really needs a preseason. Anyway,
No, he doesn't, but I'm saying it's a calf injury. He's mobile, but he's not as mobile. Think about that. Miles Garrett has been known to know, like, he's one of those DNs. He's definitely like, if a dude's injured, he knows that. He's playing on that in his mind when he's rushing. So I like the Browns either way. Titans at the Saints. I like the Saints week 1 at home, low scoring game. I won't be picking the Saints a lot this year. I just don't think that they have it, but I think that they beat the Titans week 1, man.
Titans always play well. Variable is actually a good coach. He actually has exceeded my expectations his first couple years here, or his years here, early years in the NFL being a coach. I think he'll be a coach for a while. Kind of reminds me of the dude in Detroit, Dan Campbell. Both of them just very kind of like defensive, inspirational, rah-rah guys, but they do coach some good ball. Derek Carr, with New Orleans, he's still gonna have some hiccups. It would be Derek Carr fashion to actually lose this game, I think. So I'll go with Tennessee.
Alrighty. Panthers at Falcons, -3.5 for the Falcons. This is a toss-up game.
Falcons for me. Hits, it's Ritter had a lot of. I'm just gonna talk while you think of your thing. Ritter had a lot of action at the end of the season. He played well, took it from Mariota.
The Falcons do bullshit like before. Give me the Panthers. I like the Panthers to upset this.
Okay, yeah. I think with Atlanta, you got Bijan, you got Kyle, you got Drake London. I think that's going to be a big 3, and Ritter played well at the end of the year. He took the job from Mariota. But we got to see what Bryce Young is, because Bryce Young might be a superstar.
Jaguars at Colts. I like Jags.
Yeah, I like we were talking about with the game going over, I still like I like the Jags. And I like your Jags, with the MVP with Lawrence. They were in the playoffs last year. I love Doug Peterson. That's a good coach of the year candidate. I could go back on that and say Doug Peterson. Actually, I might change my coach of the year pick to Doug Peterson. He's a very, very good coach. Philly
Player prop alert. Calvin Ridley might have 100 yards by halftime.
All right. Yeah, but he was good, a great coach in Philly, won a Super Bowl there. He might go win one in Jacksonville, so I'll take Jacksonville. I do think the Colts are going to be better, though, with Anthony Richardson. Unless Anthony Richardson just sucks and it's a terrible NFL quarterback. But if he's even decent and he starts getting his mechanics down and they start teaching him a lot, and he has like one of those 1 to 2 year progressions, I think that Anthony Richardson could be a great NFL quarterback, and it could be a change for the franchise as a whole.
Gonna be a long season for my boy Nicky and them out in the AZ sun. Washington Cardinals at Washington. I like Washington. Easy, nothing to be said.
I'm not sold on Washington's offense except for Josh Dodson and for Terry. But I feel like I haven't seen Sam Howell tape or whatever, because nothing has I don't even have any. He doesn't really have a ton of memorable plays to me. So
had a good preseason versus the ones on Monday night versus the Ravens ones defense.
Preseason, I don't care about the preseason.
Yeah, but it's not always about composure and poise is what I'm looking for in preseason.
So the defense to me though, that defense is primed and ready to be very good. It could be one of those teams
get out of hand for the Cardinals.
Well, their defense gets turnovers, and Chase Young is a dog. They got that other Marquez Sweat. Yeah, so they got some dogs on defense, and they might be one of those teams where they're winning games and teams aren't even scoring against them. So that defense could be crazy. And it's the same thing with Sam Howell. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, but he always has a lot of weapons around him. Sam Howell could have a lot of weapons around him. Also, Brian Robinson's a good sleeper pick. Yeah. I like that dude, Brian Robinson. He's got a lot of heart. He got shot in the leg, and he's still playing ball. And he's a good ball player. They picked him early in the draft to replace Antonio Gibson and be their future star running back. So, yeah.
Raiders at Broncos. I like the Broncos to win week 1 versus.
Yeah, I like the Broncos too. Let's see Sean Payton do his thing.
Dolphins at Chargers. I think this is a high-scoring game. I like over in this. I like the Dolphins to win week 1. I think Tyreek Hill is one of them players that if you got Tyreek Hill on your team, you always have a chance to win.
Yep, just like Nick Bosa on his defense, TJ Watt on his defense, Tyreek Hill on his offense. Like, he is the leader of that offense, possibly the best offensive player in the league. And I like your over pick. I just wanted to oh, here it is. It's 50.5. So that's a high over, but I like it. It's high for a reason. And I think the Chargers have a lot to prove this year. But I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I like Coach Mike on the Dolphins as well. I think he's a really good coach. I think he's really smart. He has good play calls. I like the way they use all their different running backs. And the Chargers, I think this could be a make or break year for Stanley, the head coach of the Chargers, because there's a lot of expectations for Herbert to go and win a Super Bowl, or, because he's a really good quarterback and they have not done it. They've underexceeded. They have they have a ton of guys on defense. They got Khalil Mack, they got Joey Bosa, they got good corners, they got good safeties, and they have underperformed. They should be stacked. They have a worse situation than the Bills. It's the same thing as the Bills, but it's like you got big names, and you guys are underperforming. You guys should be in the top 4 teams in the NFL, and you're not. So I like that they have a lot to prove. So I like the over pick, and I'll ride with you on that. But I'll go with the Dolphins as well, because I like the coach better, and I think they got a lot of good help. They got more help this free agency and whatnot.
All right, I'm gonna speed up a little bit more. Eagles at the Patriots, -4 on the Philly. This is intriguing, but I will take the defending NFC champions. I just think they have too much offense for the Patriots. I don't see them. This is a kind of a trap game to me in a week 1 matchup, but I like the Eagles.
Me too.
Packers at Bears. This is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
No Aaron Rodgers within the last 10 years. Jordan Love starts his prominence in Green Bay. It's going to be a close game. Bears are -1. I like the Bears just because they're at home.
Yeah, I think that Green Bay, I'll go with Green Bay, because I think that their defense is still stacked, and I think that I don't think it's going to be a bad year for Chicago. I do like all the hype with Justin Fields and whatnot, but it's week 1. It's like the week 1 with the college ball. Like, some of these in the NFL, sometimes it takes till like week 3 till you really see these guys get the ball rolling and really have everything figured out, and they're playing good ball. So Packers, they kind of have, I think, their stuff more together. And the quarterback Jordan Love, he's played last year when Rodgers was injured and whatnot, and he looked okay. So I think they win that one in a low scoring affair.
Week 1, Rams at Seahawks. No Cooper Kupp, Seahawks.
Yeah, I'll rock with the Hawks.
Cowboys at Giants. It's going to be a tough one. We've talked about it. This is going to be a low.
I'm rocking with the Giants, bro. The Giants, to me, they got better on defense. And Dak Prescott in Dallas, it's like we do it every year. I'm not doing it. I'm not even going to talk about them like they're a good team. They're a bad team in my eyes. And Dak Prescott, it has his moments where he shines, but he has his moments where he's terrible. And that does not show me, that's not a good quarterback to me. You got to always be good, or you got to sometimes be great. That's what a good quarterback.
I'll say this to give you a statistic. I seen Danny Dimes play the Eagles with 2 good corners. Cowboys added Stephon Gilmore. How about them Cowboys in week 1?
All right. Well, I'm rocking with
Bills at Jets. Who you like Monday night, week 1, man?
I like the Bills. I'm just saying, because the Jets still are still trying to, I think, get their stuff together. They will be good, and like when they get down to the red zone, Bills got a lot to prove. They are a well-oiled machine. Yeah.
Tell only when we get this trailer clip out. Fire up, cue up the Johnny Ice Cream. Jets, Jets. Week 1. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to lose week 1 at MetLife? It's not happening. Give me the Jets week 1.
Okay.
Man, it's a lot of jam-packed, fun-filled, bro bets, expertise, bro bets in the building. Brought to you by Bro Media, man. Always check us out on the podcast live. Hey, stay tuned this year, this fall. We're going to have 2 episodes. We're going to give you a recap. We're going to give you a preview. We're going to mention some college football, other sports news, other media news. We still got Spotlight coming out. We still got some Bro Talk merch on the way. Website being reconfigured, under construction, man. Everything Bro Media. Y'all check us out, man. Always love, man. I'm Life of D Green, man.
I'm Parlay Hunter.
Man, it's been real, man. That's been a Bro Best, man. Shout out.